On this episode of Taskforce Geek, we talk with Jerry Bennett, comic artist and illustrator, who is offering his work on Kickstarter right now. We'll also talk about the big shakeup at Warner Media and what it means hopefully for DC Comics. And we'll reminisce about Adult Swim and cover the 3 new Adult Swim movies they just announced, and that's all coming up now. Welcome to Taskforce Geek. My name is Dark Hooper, and today I am joined by Scott.
Howdy!
There he is right there. And Sean.
Yep.
N7 Wilson. Man, that is, never have you had a more apt moniker than that. I'm sure we'll talk about that later on. And we also have our guest tonight, which is Jerry Bennett. There he is. Right there. We got him live.
Hello!
So there's our crew for tonight. Welcome to everyone. We are looking for guests for Taskforce Geek, either for an interview or to join us on this show. If you have something to promote, particularly an independent comic, but also a game, a movie, a book, or anything else that's geeky, please contact us at taskforcegeek@gmail.com. And next week we're going to have Andrew Guild, the writer of Forgotten Hymns, a Lovecraftian noir horror comic, on the show. That ought to be fun. Good stuff there. We are broadcasting live from my Facebook account. Let's see if I can get that. There it is right there. And also from YouTube. I think they said that there might be a problem at YouTube. There was a message when I came into StreamYard, and so we'll see. Hopefully we're broadcasting on there. And also Twitch. We are among the cool people on Twitch, right? Hey, where's our share team? If you're watching this on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch, then if you share this video right now, then our broadcast platform will become, or your broadcast platform, wow, I'm screwing this up bad, will become, if you share this will become our broadcast platform. We do appreciate it. So please share this right now while it's live. Also, we'd like to invite you to join the conversation. If you're watching us live, then you can leave some questions for our guest or for us and chime in. We want to hear from you.
YouTube is working. I just checked.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's good news. We are, speaking of YouTube, we are a handful of people away from hitting a big number on YouTube subscribers.
500.
Please, you blew our big announcement. We are close. We are very close to 500. If you guys could, contact your friends or relatives, people that you don't like, and have them go over there and subscribe, we would appreciate it. We're just a few. We're literally just a few people away. Please tell everyone to go over there and subscribe so we can go past 500. We'd like to announce that. Hey, we'd like to announce it tonight, but if we can't do it tonight, then maybe next week. And finally, we have a new Discord server, which, oh my gosh, I thought I had that up on here. Oh, that's not going to work. Anyway, we have a new Discord server. I thought I had that on here. Maybe I'll find it later. In any case, if you're into Discord, the address is silly anyway. If you're into Discord, look for Taskforce Geek, or you can go to the Taskforce Geek Facebook group, and we have a direct link to it there. We already have a few people. Ken was talking to us on there, and Casey Jane, which is no surprise, the younger crowd likes Discord, so Casey Jane is on there. And so if you're on Discord and you want to talk to Taskforce Geek people, then get on there. All right. That's it, folks. Does anyone have anything that they want to add before we get into the meat of the show? That's a no? All right.
I think that's a no.
Okay, let's cover a few comments here. Michelle is first. She says, "Good evening, gentlemen."
Ma'am.
Ronnie, you tried to call me earlier, and I didn't answer because I'm getting ready for the show. Says, "Hello, me boyos." So hello to Ronnie. There's our buddy Walt.
Walt.
How you doing? Walt was in Oklahoma City this weekend. We got to see him live.
Did y'all get to hang out?
Yeah. He came by on our Friday night get together.
Man, I didn't get invited.
We went over to Black. Dude, it was. We talked about it on our comic group on Facebook, and you're in that.
I didn't get invited.
I'm sorry.
Lord.
I actually had a graduation. My nephew is graduating high school, so we had a graduation party. So.
Wow.
Is
it that time of year? That is crazy.
Yeah, my sister's kid, Xavier. Isn't that crazy? That's nuts, huh? Yep.
Thanks for making me feel old, Scott.
Yeah, there you go.
That's your old person update.
Yep.
Steve says, greetings, geeks.
Hey,
Sir.
man.
Jerry says, hi, guys.
Good
Howdy.
evening, Jim.
And Walton say, I tell people, let's see, what did he say? I'd tell people I don't like, but you know what bag of stuff I told them to eat, LOL. For the
And
YouTube
nobody
subscribers.
likes marshmallows. You're right, Walt. Who just eats a bag of marshmallows?
Their root, Scott, I didn't get invited either. Also, I might add, on the same group where we talked about it. Michelle is also on that group as well. So she was invited.
To be truthful, Shell, if I wanted to go eat with an old person, I would have just went out to eat by myself. So there's a bunch of old guys in that group.
That doesn't sound all that much fun. I got a lot of private. Do I need to check this private chat thing?
No, you don't.
Is this important, or can I get on with Biznatch?
We fixed
Good on.
What the heck is this? Ronnie says, Scott, your sister's kid is Professor Xavier?
His name is Xavier, yes. And if
is
he
he-
becomes a professor, then he's Professor Xavier.
Wow. Steve says that he may come rudely interrupt when he's up here this weekend. Are you coming too? What the heck? What, can't we coordinate this? All right, we're getting on to our get you all here at the same time. Why not? All right. This is going to be our feature presentations coming up now. All right. Tonight, our guest is Jerry Bennett. Jerry Bennett is a full-time comic book artist and illustrator. He has created work for Stan Lee, Marvel, DC, and DreamWorks. Not too shabby, just to name a few licenses. He was in the 2018-19 Paseo Arts Association Artist in Resident at the historic Skirvin Hilton, teaching the comic art process and creating gallery comic art. It was very cool. I dropped by. We were going to talk about that. He is currently drawing Glamorella's Daughter with Charles J. Martin, short historical comic stories for Red River Institute of History, and writing and illustrating his own graphic novels. I'd like to hear about those. Jerry is the illustrator coordinator for the Oklahoma region of the SCBWI. What is that?
That stands for the Society of Children's Book Writers and Illustrators.
Very cool. I
Yes.
like that a lot. Yes,
It's an
very
international.
nice.
It's a world organization, and Oklahoma has a region with concentrations in Tulsa and Oklahoma City, and I'm the region illustrator coordinator.
Hey,
Nice.
congratulations, and very cool.
It's fun. It's super
Very
fun.
You are representing us in Oklahoma on many fronts there, Jerry.
Man, I've been very fortunate just to be all over the place in a lot of ways, and making a lot of great contacts, meeting a lot of cool people. It's been an incredible ride so far. I'm really looking forward to seeing where it continues to take me.
You're doing pretty good, man. I'm getting some feedback. Does someone hear that?
I heard it, but
I heard it.
Maybe it's me. All right, Jerry, for the first question that I have for you, let's just start with how you got interested in art, and then how did you move from doing that into doing it professionally?
Oh man, well, that is a story that spans all the way back to third grade. Actually, even longer, because my mom had kept drawings from when I was like 6 years old of planes that my dad worked on. My dad was a mechanic for Tinker, and I drew all the specific planes he'd worked on, and then all the other ones that Tinker had.
That's
for
cool.
And so my first real love of comics came in third grade when Star Wars came out, and I collected all the Star Wars comics, and I would trace them. I would trace the characters and the ships and the aliens, and then I got to a point where I would learn to draw them by memory, and then I would start creating my own aliens and my own ships that I felt like belonged in the Star Wars world, and that kind of was just a kind of built a trajectory for me that I started collecting Transformers, G.I. Joe, and then started getting real serious about the art as far as like the specific artists. I was hardcore into like John Byrne, Michael Golden,
Oh.
and think all the ones from the '80s that really affected me. Arthur Adams.
Yes.
Yeah, those names were very influential in my.
Those are all great picks.
Oh yeah. And so, so I decided to. I was very fortunate to get a scholarship to go to USAO in Chickasha, and was. I was actually, oddly enough, I was also enamored with Disney and wanted to be like a Disney animator, storyteller. And so I went to college specifically with that goal in mind. But at the end of my term at USAO, I realized that journey was going to be honestly a bit of a headache because you guys know the animation process, drawings after drawing.
It's a monster.
It is a monster. And ultimately I realized that I wanted to be a storyteller, and the best way to do that would be through graphic novels and comics. And so, I jumped in on that, and I came back to Oklahoma City, worked a regular job at a door and plywood shop, and worked there for like 16 years.
Wow.
Yeah, and during that whole time, I was on the side trying to take all the commission work I could get. I was doing murals. I was doing portraits of all kinds. I started slowly making contacts with comic creators around the area. Started going to Comic Cons. Started entering contests. Like there was some T-shirt websites that were very popular about 10, 15 years ago, and they would have these contests where you could enter and design and be chosen to have your art featured as official licensed work for various licenses they had. They had Star Wars, Lucasfilm, Marvel, what else? Most of the Hasbro stuff. And so I ended up winning several of those contests and ended up getting licenses for Power Rangers, for Star Wars, for Marvel. And then I started getting into sketch cards. That was a thing that brought in a lot of licenses for me as well. And you guys know the whole trend of sketch cards?
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Tell us about it.
No, I don't.
Okay, so trading cards are still a thing. I used to collect all the Star Wars cards growing up, and they still make Star Wars cards to this day. But now they have this new incentive where they would send out these blank cards for artists to draw original sketches on them, and they would send those sketches back and randomly insert, original art sketch cards in random packs. And so someone could end up with like an original Jerry Bennett sketch on a blank, formerly blank sketch card.
Yeah, cool.
And so, I did that for a number. In fact, I'm still doing that now. I'm actually working on a set for Ultraman.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they came out with an Ultraman trading card set, so I'm actually finishing up actually another wave because they wanted some more sketch cards, so I'm doing more for them. And so, but right now, my big focus now is completely comics. I'm very fortunate to get to do a lot of stories for a lot of authors in the local area. Charles Martin, I've done short stories with. Jackson Compton, I've done a lot of full stories with Jackson Compton. My big comic career actually started with a title called Nader's Zenith, and it was a sci-fi comic. And we got 3 issues in, and then we just ran into a lot of roadblocks that we've had to put it to the side for now. And we still talk about it, and we still want to come back to it. So eventually, it will rise again one day. But in the meantime, I've been trying to put my hand at writing my own stories, and so I've written a few short stories. Some that have been in Literati Press anthology comics. One I just finished that's going to come out in another anthology for a project out of Wichita for a comic book shop, and they're getting ready to release an anthology. And then I'm actually writing some full-length graphic novels. One of my big endeavors is to get published in the kid-lit market. Right now, kid-lit market,
it's huge.
It is massively huge. Yeah, they are like picking up, especially the middle grade market, and that's where I've really honed in on.
Which market?
the middle grade. It's kind of like the like 9 to 12 age range.
Okay, right.
And so it's a great area, I think, to really write, because you can have a lot of fun. You can really you can get emotional, you can get serious in some of the arcs, but at the same time, there's this real lighthearted narrative that stays throughout, and so it's just pure fun to me. And so I've been focusing on trying to write something for that market, and at the same time, I had this one concept that I could not figure out how to best write it. And so I approached Charles Martin again, and that project is Glamorella's Daughter. I've always had the idea of this bright girl with a mom who it happens to be the defender of Earth. And so Charles loved the idea, and he, as a parent of a child with autism, he thought it would be an even more richer story to make the main character have autism. And so it's turned out to be a very rich story with a lot of like super adventurous fun throughout, a lot of humor throughout, but there's actually a lot of layers of deep issues that are tackled, a lot of emotion that is actually sprinkled throughout. And so I'm just so blown away by the scripts. I've been, ever since we started doing this, and we actually started this like 2 years ago. Our first issue was fully drawn, not colored, but it was fully drawn when I was at the Skirvin. That was 2 years ago, and we can talk a little bit more about that. But we've never wanted to put it down. We've always felt real passionate about it, and so we've always tried to move forward. And lately with Literati Press, who is the publisher behind it, they've really wanted to go onto a national level with their comics, and they found 3 specific titles that they really wanted to push up on a national level, and Glamorella's Daughter happens to be. And so we're really stoked about where it's going, and we've been using Kickstarter as a way to help build some funds and to build an audience. And I feel like we've already started succeeding at that pretty well. We've organically built a really nice audience from the first issue, and the second issue is currently going now on a Kickstarter. And so it's been amazing. And the first issue of Glamorella's Daughter is now actually available to pre-order in the Diamond distributor catalogs. And so yeah, this is a very integral time for the life of Glamorella's Daughter nationwide. We'll find out at the end of the month to find out how many orders we get from Diamond.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we're still. So that's. I say nutshell. That was a really big nut. So, but yeah, that's.
Yeah, you took us from the beginning all the way to today.
I really did.
The reason why I asked you to be on is because you're running a Kickstarter right now for Glamorella's Daughter. How is that doing?
So yeah, so the second issue actually is funded now. We funded it, I believe, on Sunday. So we were very ecstatic, and all the more ecstatic because contrary to the first issue, we had a 30-day Kickstarter run for the first issue, and this one we decided to just shrink back to a 15-day Kickstarter.
Really?
Yeah, we kind of really.
How is that? How'd that work?
Actually, it's worked better than we imagined, because we have been consistently grabbing better numbers at that particular point in time than we did in the first issue. So I think we have like 83, 84, 85 maybe backers, and we have it fully backed. And we're actually, I think, just dollars away from our first stretch goal. So
you're gonna have to publish some stickers, man. You're $16 away.
Oh, there it is. Yes. Oh, $16. That's amazing.
And I bet before the show's over, you're gonna get your $16.
Yep. So. This is hopefully we'll push a few people over there.
Oh, I hope so. That'd be amazing. Yeah.
There it is on Kickstarter right now. That's the live figure, and you have 88 people who have chipped in there.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's good stuff.
So Yeah.
Oh, I was going to ask. So, Jerry, if I don't have issue number 1, can you get issue 1 in this Kickstarter for issue 2?
We have a level where you can get both 1 and 2 as a package deal. So, and if you wanted, like, say, we have some exclusive variant covers. We have an exclusive cover that I did. That's the standard cover. And then if you wanted to scroll down further, there's some exclusive covers, one done by me, and then my favorite one, this one right here, is by a local artist, Marcus Eakers. And
that's rad.
He is a fantastic artist, and I'm just blown away by his style and how he interpreted our characters. And so that's the one I'm really excited about. And so you can get all 3 of those variant covers as a special Grand Glam Slam deal. And and you can add on. We have some various add-ons where you can get some stickers. We had a sticker from the last Glamorella that you can get as an add-on, and you can get issue number 1 as an add-on as well. And so yeah, we've got a lot of great options here. And my favorite option actually is the very last one. For only $100, you can get 10 issues of number 1 and number 2. And he includes a virtual school visit, and so we love talking. I love doing school visits whenever I can. I love doing art demonstrations for kids. I've been really fortunate to be able to go to a lot of schools and talk about the life of an artist, the life of an illustrator. And with COVID, I had to cancel a ton of them, or they had to cancel a ton of them. But the neat thing was that they turned them into virtual events and brought me back. And so it was really great to be able to talk with kids. And it gave me an opportunity actually to go to even farther range. I even had a webinar. So with the SCBWI organization, I was.
You roll that right off your tongue.
Oh yeah, no, I'm well used to. I've been the Illustrator coordinator for 10 years now, so it's very second nature. But the Alaska region invited me to do a webinar on inking and the comics market, and so one of the big benefits for me personally was just having this amazing reach to speak with people, speak with students, speak with students of all ages, honestly, and just have my comics have a better reach of getting an audience worldwide.
I'd like to both invite Sean and Scott to ask questions if they have any, and also all of the people who are watching right now. If you're watching, you have a question, then put it up on the comments. We'll be glad to let Jerry answer your questions. My next question is, you've got a main character in Glamorella's Daughter that is autistic, and you have more representation in there that's maybe kind of unusual for media. Do you ever get people who contact you and talk to you about that and how it affects them and what they think about it?
Well, yeah, actually, so when Charles and I were talking about the comic, I had always envisioned the characters to be Black, and one of my main reasons for doing so is because I really wanted to be part of the conversation. Diversity was not spoken of all that much not even 5 years ago. Diversity wasn't a readily apparent issue that was addressed, and so that was something that I always wanted to be a part of. In the last year or so, there's been a really great movement known as authenticity voice, and that means that just getting the creators of those cultures, of those races, to be the voice, to have the credit, to have that writing credit, to have that artist credit. And so we really had to step back, honestly, with the title, because we didn't want Glamorella's Daughter to be a tool that took away authentic voices. And so our solution, and we feel like after talking with several people in that realm, in that capacity of authenticity in voice, in stories, we brought in a sensitivity editor who would consult us and advise us in the story and in having an authentic voice come across in the characters. And so Brandy Williams is our authenticity editor, our sensitivity editor, just to make sure that we are representing accurately. And so
that's cool.
So it's actually been really well received overall. The autism community has really just shown us a great amount of love for the comic, and so many families, so many parents have just really reached out to us and just given us words of huge support and encouragement, saying,
"Hey, Jerry."
Yes.
You need to start printing stickers. I told you to break that before you got off the show.
What? I mean, what? It just happened?
It just happened. You're at $2,011. Start printing stickers, buddy.
Did we?
Yes.
Did we? You want to? Sean, you want to bring that up again?
Yeah, show me
Sorry,
that.
I didn't mean to
I'm
cut you
sorry.
off.
No, that's amazing. I love it. No, I love that it happened live on this show. That is so great, man.
That's good.
So
whether that's our fault or not, we're going to take credit for it.
Hey, that's awesome. Let's congratulate all of us. And so, let's celebrate. And so,
Steve is taking claim. So we're going to give Steve some.
Good.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you, Steve. That's awesome, man. We have some stuff. Since we have a moment here, let's get a few of the things out that the people have been saying so far. Steve says, Ultraman trading cards. Walt's ears just jumped up.
Not just Walt.
Walt said, did I hear Ultraman? Hello. Betty says hello. Hello to Betty. That's Sean's mom. Let's see.
For the guys who are interested in seeing those Ultraman cards, so the Ultraman trading card set was a Kickstarter as well, and it had ended already. But I know that most likely that they're going to have a Series 2, because this particular Ultraman set actually focuses on Ultra Q, the very first season of the series, and then Ultraman 66. And so I was blown away when I watched. I had never actually watched Ultra Q, and it's like it's an Asian version of the Twilight Zone, and it's fantastic. Oh my gosh! Yeah, if you've never seen it,
that sounds awesome.
Yeah, check it out. It's really, really good because it didn't even have Ultraman in it. He was not a character until 66 when Ultraman, like when season 2 came out, and it was titled Ultraman. And so
is it a Kickstarter for random packs of Ultraman cards?
Yeah, you can get random packs, or you can get like a guaranteed set, like a complete set with all of the foil cards and the 3D cards, and
that's cool.
And like have a random. They even have autograph cards from characters from the show, and so there's autograph cards and then a ton of sketch cards available. So yeah,
that's really cool.
Jennifer says, "Did I hear autism comic? I am in."
Awesome.
Thank you for watching, Jennifer.
Thank you. We're very excited about it. We neurodiverse characters are barely out there at all right now, and so we're really excited to be able to have this. And Charles, he would tell you firsthand that like this is the kind of comic he wishes he would have read when he was actually when his child was young. His child is an adult now, and actually is a member of the Literati Press team, who is our big calendar schedule guy. He's a very invaluable person in our lives, and so, the testimony that we've heard from people who have read the first and second issues is that it has a very real feel as far as the dynamic between the parents and the child. Comet is the main character, and we just love that people feel that they can relate to the relationship that's represented in the comic, and so
that's good.
Yeah, very, very exciting.
Gigi says, Mr. Hooper, you and the TFG are the premier vanguards of Western culture. Godspeed to you all.
I love it.
Not propped up at all. Jerry says so cool that I think that you went over your deal there. Steve says my fault. Congratulations. Walt says he wants some stickers.
We bring in the stickers now.
Nilrim54 from Twitch. Hey, look at this. Someone's watching us on Twitch, guys.
Woo!
Says hello to everyone. Thank you for chiming in.
Hello, hello.
And Walt says Ultra Q is pretty cool. They air episodes on Pluto TV. Interesting.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, that's very cool. I know they're on YouTube as well, but they're probably not as high quality as Pluto TV. So yeah.
Walt also says, Jerry, I got to see your segment on KWTV 9 while he was in town. Hey, tell us about that. What was that about?
So when I was at the Skirvin, Carl Torp of News 9, he has a segment called Red Dirt Diaries.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so he had reached out to me wanting to interview me, and so they came and interviewed me at the Skirvin, and the focus ended up being Glamorella's Daughter, because they thought it was such a unique story. And so
Sure.
I had mentioned to them about our Kickstarter and how we are now going nationwide, and so they wanted to do a follow-up story. So last week or so, they had come over by the house, and they talked to me about just everything that's happened since we've started doing Glamorella's Daughter. And so, yeah, it was a super fun story. And I think it got a lot of eyes, because like I had tons of people mention to me that they saw the story, and it really affected the numbers too of Glamourella on the Kickstarter too. So it was great.
Let's get that. Let's look at the board.
Look at that.
Oh my gosh! Look at that! Woo!
So I mean, now you got 90 backers, and you're over 2,000.
That is
so there
amazing.
You go. That's
oh my
pretty
gosh!
cool.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
That's pretty cool.
That is super cool, man. I think the people out there that are listening, thank you so much, man.
They will support stuff if they like the deal. They'll get on it, and some people get right on it.
Dude, my God.
No offense to Steve. This is the person I thought backed it the first time, but I figured this was coming.
Here it is. Oh, I'm sorry. I was just about to show.
Yeah.
There you go. So there.
Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you so much.
The lovely Jennifer.
That's cool.
And we actually have some more stretch goals.
Is that a bee?
It's a bee, a little sleeping bee.
It's a happy bee.
Okay, I like happy bees.
So we actually have some more stretch goals, and the next stretch goal, if it reaches 2,500, we have these cool door hangers with the main character, and it says, "Leave me alone, I'm reading." Because that's like the main character.
I do like that. I like that the main character is a reader.
Oh yeah,
I mean that speaks to me.
Voracious reader. Yeah, she would rather just be holed up in a room and just read all day. But and that's another part of the dynamic, is that Comet's mom, Glamourella, the superhero, she's a big celebrity, and she loves that limelight, and she wants to include her daughter in that, and they're just trying to find ways to relate to each other, and so it's a very, very unique dynamic, and I'm loving the way it's unfolding in the story. So at number 3, which number 3 is actually kind of part of the last stretch goal, because if we hit the final stretch goal at 3,000, we will give people a sneak peek of issue number 3. And so I actually finished the art for number 3 like just a few weeks ago, and so we're very excited about getting rolling on that one as well.
Jerry, how long does it take you to and how much of the art do you do, and how long does it take for an issue?
So I do all of the pencils and inks. I do it digitally, and Brandy Williams, our sensitivity editor, actually has been doing the color flats, and then I'll do a final like a polish, almost like a cell shade layer of it. Like I don't, so I don't know how well you might be able to see this on the screen, but so
yeah, if you hold it up close, we'll see it just fine.
So yeah, so
cool.
So yeah, you can see some shade, like a simple shade layer.
Yeah.
Over the characters, and so I keep it real simple as far as like the style. Although I'm a major detail hound, I love detail, and I feel like every issue ramps up detail wise, because like I'm so excited about all the little tidbits that I threw in on issue 3. So I spend about I could spend gosh, at least 2 to 3 full weeks on the art for each issue.
I mean, that's still pretty quick. I
It
mean, for
is.
pencils and inks.
Yeah, how many pages is that? Just curious.
It's 22 pages.
22. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, and I'm like, as each issue comes, there's like new inventions or new characters or new aspects that I'm having to like create. I've been doing concept art from the beginning, but I'm always polishing and I'm always reworking those until they have to come into the story itself. Like in issue 2, you get a glimpse into the other side of this vortex where Glamorella actually came from, and so you start getting these peeks at the world that she is from, and it just starts ramping up from there. And so there's all these new creatures that are going to show up and new things from that other dimension. I'm just excited to be able to like introduce all these new aspects to the story.
This is Nilrim says that they know you, Scott.
Yeah, that's Jeff from the game shop.
Oh, cool. Well, welcome, Jeff.
Jeff and his daughter, I assume, are watching. So.
And Jennifer said she just put in for that I'm reading sticker. The add-on.
Awesome.
She's going all in.
Well, she does date me, so that's why she rocks. Let's not.
Yeah,
that's why she rocks?
No, actually, that's why I rock. Right?
You better get that right, buddy.
Hey, Jerry, I got a question that's gonna. I always wonder this about like artists and stuff I like. Do you currently read comics? And if so, what are you picking up lately?
Oh yeah, I can never quit. I've always been reading comics my whole life, and so I'm reading a really mix of things because and part of the reason I'm reading certain ones is to study them, like I mentioned, I'm like heavy into the kid lit comics and kid lit graphic novels, and so I've been like really voraciously reading those just to understand the best pacing for those kinds of stories. Mm-hmm. And I like some of my favorites. I don't know if you've heard of Zeta the Space Girl. It's a young girl in that 9 to 12 age, and she's transported into this whole other world, and she's just confronted with these new worlds and new adventures. And so that particular creator, Ben Hackey, he created that in a really neat reboot of Jack the Beanstalk called Mighty Jack, and they're super fun titles. It's a great series, and they even have a crossover with those two characters, and it's super fun. So that's just the tip of the iceberg in that realm. But right now, I'm currently reading the Invincible series. Like I never jumped into it. I read the first like 6 to 12 issues like years ago, and I loved them, but I was so caught up with other stories. Like I was in the middle of reading a lot of Dan Slott Marvel, mm-hmm. a lot of Mark Waid Daredevil.
Right.
My favorite, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm just gonna lay it out. My favorite Marvel title of all time is Warren Ellis's Next Wave. Have you ever read that?
Yes, I have those on my shelf.
I have like the hardcover collection, or I say the full softcover collection. I have almost 2 of every issue because like I'm like reading issues all the time, looking at them, because one of my favorite artists of all time is Stuart Immonen.
Yes.
Oh, that guy's awesome.
He is
Jerry,
amazing.
do you have the old independent comic Nut Runners that he did?
Oh, wait, what was it called?
I think it's called Nut Runners. It was like Stuart Immonen. I can't pronounce his name. Anyways, it was like
Eminem?
Burger Wars versus like Taco War. It was like a fast food wars where they actually fought.
No, I've never heard of this.
I believe it's called Nut Runners.
Okay.
Because the name sounds really goofy and perverted, and I wouldn't forget that. So I'm going to look that up right now.
Because like I've been collecting a lot of his older stuff. Like he was doing a lot of stuff with what's his name, Kurt Busiek. There was this one. Was it called Superstar or
I just found it, Jerry. It is called Nut Runners, two separate words, Nut Runners. It's published through Ripoff Press, and I found a website right here that mycomicshop.com is selling like issue number 1 for like $2, and I guess there was only 2 issues. I just remembered it was like the burger wars of the 90s, Wendy's, Taco or Burger King, McDonald's, but they were actually like fighting and killing people and delivering food. So that's where I got a taste of Stuart Immonen before he, became a lot bigger and bigger and bigger.
Oh, that's amazing.
But Next Wave is awesome. It's on my shelf. It's great stuff. And sadly, I can't believe it had to end because it's like such great talent on that book. So
it was one of the best written stories. And I mean, like who would imagine taking all of these obscure at the time characters like Machine Man, Monica Rambeau before she became an MCU character. Boom
Boom. I mean, I love Boom Boom, right?
Boom Boom, yes, and made them a super team against like a funky Shield ripoff. It was the best. It was some of the most clever story writing, and it was the funnest art because he was real loose. It was not like it was like almost a different style he did. I mean, it was amazing. It's completely different from like say his Sam Wilson Captain America run. It was just gorgeous. It's beautiful. I love how simplistic he kept the line work, and the pacing was just, of course, on point. So yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if we've seen the character the Captain ever since.
I don't remember. Yeah, was that the only time he's ever come into play?
To my knowledge, I mean that doesn't mean I don't read everything Marvel, so I was just.
Sure,
it's funny that we like this, so that's awesome.
That's amazing. Yeah. So yeah, I'm reading that. I'm reading a lot of Mark Millar stuff. I think I'm in the middle of what's it called? There's one he's doing with Raphael Albuquerque. How do you pronounce his name? Prodigy. That's it. Yeah. So, and then I wanted to read all of the. What's the new Netflix show they just came out with?
Jupiter's
Legacy. So yeah, there was already 4 trades of stories, and I'd only read one of them, and so I went back and read the rest of them. But
well, Jerry, if you were a Star Wars fan, you got it. I'm telling you, go pick up the Bounty Hunter War. It's just starting.
Oh, I know.
Unless you want to wait for the trades, which might be your thing. So
I might wait for the trades because right now I've got like my hands full of back issues that I'm trying to catch up on. Because like I have tons of Brian Michael Bendis Superman that I'm trying to catch up on.
Oh, yeah.
And then the Dan Slott Fantastic Four and even the Dan Slott Silver Surfer I'm trying to finish up. So. Yeah, I've got so many comics to read; it's unreal.
The Bendis run on the Legion of Superheroes is really good too. Highly recommend.
I did read the first 6 issues. It's super fun, and that art is amazing as well. So yeah, and I'm liking some of his new characters he's written. So what is the Naomi character? She's actually a really fun character. I was a little leery about the idea, but it turned out to be a fantastic backstory for her, and yeah, it's really compelling. So I'm enjoying the heck out of that.
Cool.
Nilram said just picked up the Grand Slam sticker and a copy of issue 1.
Yeah, we're up to $2,078.
That is fantastic. Thank you. Now, who is Nilram?
He's a guy that we play. I play games with and stuff. So
fantastic!
I know him through the comic shop down in Norman. So.
Oh well, thank you so much. Thank you, man. That's.
I'm going to share some of your artwork.
Oh, that sounds
here,
fantastic.
and just I mean, I'm just going to go through it, and then if you want to make any comments or whatever, then you're welcome to.
Sure.
So there it is, right there. I'm going to put that on full screen.
So that was a piece I did for Oklahoma Today. I've been doing a lot of illustration, spotted illustration, full illustration work for them. And that was for a story about the Bigfoot culture in eastern Oklahoma.
This is Oklahoma, folks.
Yes.
And it does exist.
That's a great illustration, by the way.
Thank you.
I love that. Good job.
and they give me such freedom to create, and I've been having tons of fun with that, and so yeah.
I know some people that look just like that. How about this? That's cool.
So thank you. Yeah, this is one of my favorite pieces. This was the original black and white piece I had done as a piece for a SoonerCon art show.
Nice.
And that piece sold, but I wanted to color it and just see what the color scheme would look like in my eyes, and so I had tons of fun with that. And this was a pure excuse to draw monsters and kaiju and mecha, basically.
Yes.
So I love creating robots, and
you're singing our song,
right? And you'll love the idea I've got for I just finished writing a 40-page one-shot story purely for the fun of drawing cool stuff that includes just robots, Martians, my version of all the Universal monsters. So it's gonna be crazy.
Nice.
That's cool. Let's see. Michelle says, "Love, love, love your Bigfoot art."
Thank you. I'm very proud of that piece.
By the way, for people who don't know, that is downtown Oklahoma City that he's illustrated there. That's the Devon Tower.
That's Stark Tower. Oh,
Devon Tower. Heyo. There's a page from Glamorella's Daughter.
Yep.
Also showing Oklahoma City, by the way.
And I didn't mention this, but one of the big things about Literati Press is that it's part of its mission is to showcase the talent in Oklahoma. So we are wanting to include stories that involve Oklahoma, and it was a given that we were going to make Oklahoma City the home of the adventures of Glamorella and Comet and her gang. And so, in fact, in a later page in Glamorella issue 1, when they arrive at their home, which is a mansion, it's located just I say right down the street. I live down the street from Lake. Oh gosh, now I'm forgetting the name. I'm totally blanking. But there's a dam on a lake down.
Overholster?
Tin Killer.
Is it
Draper?
It's the one over by, my gosh, on the way to Yukon.
I think it's Overholster.
Okay, Overholster then. Yeah, that's got to be it. So I can't believe
Arcadia.
Not Arcadia.
Oh, that's not okay.
We named every lake in Oklahoma.
I know, right?
Lake Overholster. Yeah, that's the one by Yukon.
There you go.
Okay, Overholster. Yeah, there's this really beautiful dam I had never seen before, and we thought it'd be the perfect spot to have her mansion. So yeah, so she lives off of
that's cool. Yeah. What about this piece?
So this is the cover. This is the standard cover for issue 2. So yeah, so you can see there's a lot of crazy stuff going on with that particular. In the background, that's the machine. And you'll read in issue 1 that machine is very integral. Of how Glamorella comes into our world. So
you see the character. Love your expressions, and you have such a fun style.
Thank you. That was one of my big challenges. That I wanted to overcome was capturing facial expressions, because if you
so important.
It is. It really is, especially in the storytelling process. Because if the audience can't understand the emotion that's coming through in the facial expression of character, the dialogue isn't going to have the same impact, and the story won't have the same impact, and you're going to lose the pacing of the story itself, and lose readers in the process. So that was very important to me, to be able to capture facial expressions, and I'm just stoked about some of the expressions that I've caught for some of these particular scenes.
What is this? I like this piece a lot.
Okay, so this is a fan art piece I did for a character called Magnus. Some friends of mine in Wichita. I'm friends with a lot of people in Wichita. They have a really strong comic community there, a comic creator community, and so they had approached me about creating a piece for their comic Magnus. And so I had total fun with it. I was playing with some new brushes and just went to town. And so I had fun with that pose and with the coloring. So yeah, that's basically what it was.
Very cool. How about this?
So I have a huge love for the Universal monsters, and I also have a huge love for Kidlit. And so I wanted to have this fun scene where all the Universal monsters and some other monsters or other creatures or scary characters were overlooking some characters as they were reading scary stories. So it's kind of something just to bring to life the idea of the imagination of when you're reading stories.
Sure. I think I maybe have one more. There it is.
Oh yeah, so this was a variant cover I got to do for a title called Sister Powers, and this was also done by a fellow Oklahoma comic creator,
Mario White's, right?
Yes. So he approached me about doing a variant cover, and I was like so excited. So that was the variant cover for issue 2.
Really like the way that you indicate the people by shadows. That's not easy to do.
No, it was so fun to play with the perspective of shadows stretching out.
Yeah.
And I even played with the with the color scheme. I love the idea of the red and the purple.
Red versus purple, yeah.
Yeah, and just evoking that emotion of urgency. And so I really enjoyed the way that came out. Had tons of and it was a really challenging deadline because I only had a few days to be able to get that from start to finish, and so I had a lot of fun just challenging myself to finish that deadline.
Let me get a few more comments out here. Ronnie says, Jerry, I was looking online at some of your work today and absolutely love The Mandalorian and Grogu. Incredible work. Love the shine on the Beskar steel.
Thank you. I'm a huge pen and ink nerd, and that's something I don't get to do enough. I love like pointillism. I love the effect you can reach with pointillism, and I love cross-hatching. And so if you look at my Instagram, you'll see a lot of love for Star Wars lately since The Mandalorian had come out. And so I've done several Grogu pieces and several Mandalorian pieces. And I've got some that I'd started this one really cool Grogu and Ahsoka piece, and that I just have never been able to get back to. And you can actually find, I've got some processed shots of some of those pieces on my Instagram. So yeah.
If you're interested, I mean, I just grabbed these off of his website. You can see it on the crawl there if you're interested. And he's also on Instagram and on Twitter as well. Let's see. Walt says, Oklahoma Bigfoot culture was recently quite the punchline down here in Texas.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, it's pretty close to Texas, so that doesn't really surprise me.
Jerry says there's some really nice houses by Lake Overholser Dam.
Oh, I didn't know that. I was wondering.
It's Glamorella's.
Obviously. The big purple one. You can't miss it.
Those in Texas talking of Oklahoma Bigfoot culture are merely jealous beings, Steve says.
There it is.
And Michelle says, I adore your sense of art style. She is a new fan.
Oh, thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much. I'm humbled. Honestly, I've felt so blessed to be able to do this for a living. Like, when I graduated from college, I had no idea what my chances were because when I graduated, it was 93. There was no internet. There was no computer generated art to speak of, really. And the comic community was in New York or San Diego. And I actually had planned on moving to San Diego. I was just like a week away of actually moving out. And
not too shabby.
No. I mean, I'm thrilled to be doing what I'm doing. I honestly can't believe that I was able to stay in Oklahoma and do what I'm doing because the art culture was very slow in coming back in the 90s. I mean, there was an art culture, but it was a very niche community. And I feel like we've grown so much as a state when it comes to the culture of art along all areas of art, especially the comic creative culture.
That's actually one of the things I was going to ask you about. Unless you are a country music star or a football player, it's difficult to get any traction, any sort of attention or anything of the sort in Oklahoma. That includes artists in general, but particularly if you're doing, comic book art. You just said it. Do you think that things have changed, or is there something that maybe you have done that maybe has helped on that front?
I just love to talk with, we have a great Comic-Con culture in the nation.
We certainly do.
Yeah, there's Comic-Cons everywhere, and there's no shortage of them in Oklahoma. There's shows all the time in Oklahoma. And so I try to participate in all of them that I can when I can. And I feel like the culture has really shifted. And we never really talked about the Skirvin, but like my being chosen as an art resident at the Skirvin, specifically focused on comic art, tells me that there has been a shift. And
that's crazy.
And it started even earlier. Some really good friends of mine in the art community, Kelsey Carper and Romy Owens, they invited me to be part of a collaborative art gallery venture called the Elaborate Collaborate. And it was a really cool thing where there were, large pieces of paper that connected like one long snake. And it was all connected by points on each paper. They would connect, and then artists would be able to create something like a start. They would have a start, and then other artists would come in and continue work on that. And so I had started this one overarching piece of this giant it was basically like a mecha made of oil wells. and
that's appropriate,
right? And so I thought, I was trying to come up with something that felt very Oklahoma, so that was as close as I could get. But then people came in and worked their particular art style on it, and so the collaborative piece at the end of it was a really unique item. And so and that told me that people were really open to the idea of comic art as an elevated as an elevated art medium. And so I felt real comfortable to be a part of the art community, and then just to bring to life all the more Oklahoma as a spotlight. A lot of my pieces were very Oklahoma centric focused. I would have monsters coming out of like businesses. Like there was in Oklahoma City, down on Northwest 36 near the highway, there's this big egg church. They call it the Egg Church. I forgot actually what church used to own it, but it's a huge egg-shaped church that people call the Egg Church. And I always had this fun idea, since it was like considered an egg, like what could hatch out of it, So I did this one piece of a huge dragon bursting out of it, and had such fun with it.
That's cool.
And even the church leadership, they shared it on their page. And,
Did they?
That's cool. Yeah, they thought it was the funnest piece. And so I was really excited that they were adopting it. So, they were throwing love at it. So, yeah, I'm just very stoked about where art has taken the Oklahoma community.
Jerry says that was the first Christian church of Oklahoma City.
Right.
Before we let you go, what's next for you, Jerry?
I'm actually, oh gosh, I'm doing so many different comic projects. I'm actually working on 4 different comic
projects. This is good.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's awesome. So Glamorella, we're going to continue with issue 2, 3, and 4. We're going to do Kickstarters for the rest of them, but we're also going to be we're also going to be selling those through Diamond Distributors nationally. So we're hoping comic shops across the nation will purchase them as well, and then have a trade, a first softcover collection of those 4 issues, and follow up with season 2 next year. And in the meantime, I'm also writing a middle grade graphic novel, and I plan on trying to draw that 40-page fun story. and then I'm doing some comic projects with an Oklahoma publisher, doing some nonfiction stories in Oklahoma history. So yeah,
cool,
awesome,
very cool, man. We sure do appreciate you being on here
Oh man, thank you so much for having me, man. I mean, my gosh, I mean, look at the Kickstarter. Look what the happened to the Kickstarter.
Let's before we let you go, let's see. We still got this up here. How's it doing? Pretty good. 91 backers. It's well over 2.
That is amazing. Oh, so thrilled. And see, 91. And we have 68 hours left. That's like less than 3 days. And that's we're at day 12. And so day 12 from issue 1, we didn't have, I don't think we had 60 followers at the time. And so this is huge bump for us. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah, come back sometime when you have more time to talk.
Oh, Jerry, I would love to.
You're welcome anytime. You can come on to promote something, or you can just come on to say hi anytime, honestly.
I plan to, guys. I got so many things in store. I want to come back and show those to y'all and just chat more comics. Man, there's so much more comics I've read that I want to talk about. So,
that's what we do. So you're welcome back. Seriously, you're welcome back anytime. Steve wants to say, glad to meet you, Jerry. Good luck to you. And he's also a new fan of yours.
Oh, thank you so much, Steve. I so appreciate it, man.
Thanks a lot, Jerry.
We
appreciate
it. Y'all take care.
See ya.
All right.
Have a good night, Jerry.
All right, bye-bye.
Hey, Jerry, before you leave, I sent you the link for that Nutrunners comic on our Facebook, our little Facebook thread, so you can look out for it.
That's perfect, dude. Thank you so much.
We'll see you.
Very cool. Bye-bye. Yeah, they're going to wonder what the run on Nutrunners is all of a sudden.
You can thank Robert for that. I think that's some independent comic I read over at Robert's house.
We can't keep track of all the Nutrunners we're selling. Good Lord. I think it's, hey, thanks to everyone out there who helped us with the comments and stuff, and for backing our guest. That is super, super awesome. All right, we're going to go on to our next subject now. And let's see, here it comes. What is this?
That didn't work, did it?
Is this the nighttime look? What's going on here, man?
It didn't work. I'm trying to get my lighting right. I feel like it's off today, or I'm having a stroke or something. I can't see well.
Scott Prime at night.
Welcome, everybody. How's it going? Just here to tantalize you. Ooh, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Steve says a lot of mileage being made just saying Nutrunners this evening.
I mean, how fun is that? Nutrunners. It's not even perverted.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Killing Sean.
Look at Sean. Wow. All right, so
you know what? I want to meet Stuart Immonen so bad, so I can talk to him about Nutrunners. Every time I've met Derek Robertson, I go, Space Beaver, and he's like, dude, I've done all this other stuff, and there's always one of you guys who talks about my first published work.
That wants to dig back into the
bro,
history.
that's where I caught you. That's where I like you from.
You know what? I think that's. I would think as a creator that would be a cooler thing to not be known for your run on Spider-Man. You're known for your run on Nutrunners or whatever the hell it is. That's a true fan.
Something like that.
Okay, so this article is from Deadline. They say as the news sank in about AT&T winding down its Hollywood foray via a $43 billion merger of Warner Media and Discovery, one word summed up the film industry's prevailing reaction, and that's relief. Not only does the deal end the 3-year shadow cast by AT&T, we've talked about AT&T many times on here. Numerous sources told Deadline it averts another scenario, which is a tie-up with NBC Universal with more dire implications. The climate at AT&T run Warner Media is already showing signs of shifting even before the deal close, which is expected in mid-2022. Deadline hears that Dune, the high-profile Denis Villeneuve sci-fi remake out this fall, will not adhere to the day-and-date release pattern established for the entire 2021 slate. Instead, it will premiere in Venice in September and then enter theaters for a time before finding its way to streaming service HBO Max. They're already mixing stuff up. It hadn't taken long. So anyway, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, this affects so much. And
Who
we've
owns
talked-
Discovery?
It's just Discovery.
Okay. There's only like 3 networks out there. There's like Viacom, Disney, and then Discovery. That's the other one.
I mean, Discovery just did their own streaming service.
Okay.
They're the people who do HGTV and all this crazy.
Oh,
gosh. It's
Parent
basically.
organization is Advanced Publications.
Okay.
So I mean, my question to you guys is: there may be stuff that we're not even thinking about, but it's very clear right now, from what I'm reading, that the people who are attached to this and Hollywood in general feels relieved that AT&T, which is a huge conglomerate, and I've said many times, solely focused on money, is getting the hell out of the creative business, and they're turning it over to what they see as a nicer a company that is nicer to the creative process and stuff. So I guess what I'm asking you guys is, do you think this is good news? What does it mean for the DC movies and stuff like Dune? And maybe more importantly to us, if anything, is this going to affect DC Comics? Which I think is maybe most interesting. So first on that, I'm going to go to Scott.
I mean, I don't really know because I didn't hear about this till today because I don't follow everything, TV show and movie related. I mean, obviously, if tomorrow at my job, the main company left and the new company that came in, or management, let's say, and things felt better.
Yep.
And the workers are happy and they want to stay at work and they want to work harder for those new people, then yeah, it's probably better, right? I mean,
yeah,
you can't really argue with that. So I guess this is a good thing from the little knowledge I know about this. And I don't know. I mean, all the DC movies and stuff like that, I don't know how I don't know how you cannot produce good movies over and over and over again.
For real. Why is it so hard?
And at the same time, it might be better off if they can everything for 3 years and restart it. And I don't want any more restarts, but maybe I don't know what the right answer is anymore because we've done it and done it and done it and done it so long that, I mean, nobody has faith in it. I mean, we'll go enjoy it, but we're not going to be like, well, I can see this lasting 5 years with some of these actors and stuff like that. We have no faith in that. So I don't know. Scott doesn't care either way. So we'll just see what happens. Now, what I hope that means is, like Sean said, I believe it was like a year ago when all the DC stuff started imploding. It probably wasn't a whole year ago, but anyways, when that stuff started, Sean said in long term it would be fine. So it's
been about 18 months since all of the DC stuff is.
So maybe everything's going to turn out to be fine. I mean,
let me say that Nilram says someone just broke Sean.
Yeah, that's when we talked about nut runners. Look at Sean. Say it, Sean. Say nut runners.
Nope.
He's out.
He's out.
Hey, Brendan's dropping by. Hello to you. He says Dune, looking forward to it. Oh,
Brendan, let me tell you something. You need to go buy the new Dune Imperium board game. Not to get on a tangent.
Oh.
It's a really good game.
Is that what you played?
Yeah, I played it Friday.
Do you own that?
I do not own it. I would own that.
I would really like to play that. Okay, I would like to play that.
So there's no reason for me to own it.
Okay. Well,
I know nothing about Dune. I know nothing about Dune except it was a movie in the 80s that I didn't want to watch because it had Sting from the Police in it. So I didn't want anything to do with it. So I didn't watch it. And it seemed boring when it was on TV. I loved it. I loved the game.
What's
Sean, say nut runners. Nut runners. Nut runners.
What's your beef with Sting?
Nut runners. Back then I didn't like Sting. I didn't need a reason. I just didn't like him. Roxanne.
You should always have a reason for not liking something.
Bro, I can just pick
Walt
somebody.
says he's totally ambivalent to AT&T.
Anyways, the Dune board game was amazing. Dune Imperium. 2 thumbs up.
I want to play that. What do I got to do?
You have to leave your house, which you never do. So, anyways, moving on. Sean,
I have to be invited. have to be invited. I've heard that before.
I just show.
Brendan
I'm
says
just
he's
showing
heard
up.
great things about it, about Dune. I'm assuming.
Yeah, it's a good game. Sorry, I
Brendan
didn't mean to
says
tangent
that the Dune book is fantastic, well worth the read.
I've heard that. I've heard that several people. So
Reading Dune, you're in for a slog. There's a lot of politics.
okay.
It is
Not
political.
it's,
It is
it's
quite
not a
brilliant,
bad,
though.
It's not a bad book. I'm not trying to sway you any.
There's so much that's based on Dune that has come after Dune.
Whenever you're reading it, you in particular may be like half through the chapter and be like, "What is this crap?" And you're ready to move on. I mean, you can't sit for half an hour through a TV show, so I can't imagine you're reading Dune with any delight. Later on, everything gets to really start moving, and it is a very good, very, very good book.
Sean,
But
what's your thought on the Warner spinoff here, and do you think it's going to mean anything to DC?
Initially, well, I mean, the merger's not even going to happen until the middle of next year.
Right.
So if everything is done, everything's said, or is set forward now, what everybody's going to be doing is just waiting on what is it? It's not the stock market. It's the commission. The
FCC,
to
Federal
okay,
Trade Commission, FTC.
That's what I'm thinking of. They're going to wait on the FTC to approve of the merger, and
Right.
I don't see any problem with that. So I mean, it's pretty much going to go forward. I find it interesting that basically AT&T's taken about a 50% hit.
They lost about half on this.
So
In 3 years, they lost about 40 billion. Excuse me, $40 billion.
I can't
crazy.
imagine. I can't imagine that they got enough. They did see a spike in
HBO Max.
subscriptions on HBO Max. I think it was something like 2.3 million
Yeah, I
new
mean,
subscriptions. So
did
did that make their money back? No.
No, no,
But-
and they've had to eat all of these movie launches.
Right. So what will it benefit Warner Media? Will it benefit DC Comics? I think any movement out of AT&T is going to benefit them to some degree, simply because AT&T they really didn't know what to do with
No.
Warner or DC. And that's nothing against AT&T. That's just
No, they're
what
just
the hell
not.
do they know?
They're not a creative company.
Right. So in that regard,
They're the phone company.
Discovery, I don't know if they what their intent is. I mean, they're an entertainment company, so I mean, obviously their focus will be, oh man, can you imagine Aquaman during Shark Week? Man, that's going to be fantastic.
That could happen.
So you
came up
think
with that pretty quick.
just right there. So
The females.
Oh my lord! If you could
Through the
get
roof.
Jason Momoa to be on
shirtless
Shark
and
Week, that's
talk.
oh my lord, that's
Your mom
a
would
winner.
watch it.
I'm sure you could get him.
My mom would watch it.
I'm sure
Yeah.
you could get him in a shirt.
I've seen your mom comment on how she gets the willy nillies for Jason Momoa.
I'm telling you, that's
She gets the tingle.
that's like We Are the World there.
Yeah.
Sean, do you have anything else to add?
I think it's going to be a benefit, no matter what. It's going to be a benefit. Like I had said before, everything will work itself out. I don't think that this is a bad thing. I do think that this is a positive. I'm just not 100% sure what their new focus will be. But see,
See,
there.
Jerry says.
Why would you not watch Shark Week?
See, there she goes. She might.
Nilram says you get a tingle in your nut runner, Scott.
I mean, for Jason Momoa.
Would you call that the Jason tingle?
I'd just call it the Momoa. Starting to feel Momoa down in my neither regions.
The Momoa. Is that it, Sean? All right. I think this has to be good news for the television and movie divisions. They've, been under the wire of AT&T, which is a big money behemoth. That's solely. It's like this, this huge aircraft carrier of money. And when they look at like box office returns and stuff, they're just not impressed. And so this has to be a much better deal for movie and television production, because obviously Discovery gets that. Sean's already mentioned, the crossovers and stuff that could happen on all the Discovery channels, and they're creative people, so they get that sort of thing. If the Snyderverse was not dead before, it's totally dead now. The only reason why we got a Justice League Snyder cut is because AT&T saw some money, and they said to the powers that be at Warner, make this happen. All we hear is, release the Snyder cut. Why are you not doing this? And the creative people are like, well, we're moving on from that. We don't want to do the Snyder cut. And AT&T goes, we are AT&T. You will do this. So, that's how you got the Snyder cut. That's over now. It's going back to whoever the creative team is that's running the show there. It's going to, they're the ones who are going to be making, good or bad, they're the ones who are going to be making the decisions again. I feel bad for the people who are working, because once again, anytime you merge with another company, they're going to be looking at, where's the waste? Where is the stuff that we don't need anymore? And so, your mid-level management's going to go through some trouble. Anything that's being released, like the next thing we're going to be talking about is Adult Swim. The Adult Swim stuff is under the Warner Media banner. So, are all of these projects that people have mentioned, are they still going to happen? Who knows? Everything is up for grabs, when you start talking about a merger. If it's going to happen more than if it's going to happen within the next year, you're probably okay. If it's going to happen after that, it's all going to be, subject to debate by the new people. DC Comics, I don't know. I think that DC Comics has been kind of, gutted up to this point. Unfortunately, I think that unless you get hey, maybe someone who works for Discovery is a big DC Comics fan. I mean, we can hope for that. Who wants to maybe advocate for expanding the line. But if that's not the case, AT&T has already done the deep cut on DC, and I think you're going to be seeing that more and more, that basically what you're going to be seeing from DC is Batman comics, Superman comics, and Wonder Woman comics, and everything is going to be geared toward, creating content that can be transferred to, trade paperback or whatever, because that's where all the money is right now. I hope that someone in those offices at Discovery who's going to be pulling the strings is a comic book fan, and they go, hey, let's see if we can't funnel a little bit of money and creative energy toward, creating something along the lines of, more Black Label stuff, or more stuff like Vertigo, which was, killed off, or whatever. Just something, where DC isn't just Batman comics and, whatever, that sort of thing. But we don't know yet. This hasn't gone through, so who knows? But I have to think overall this has to be good news, because at least AT&T is, who is blind to everything except the almighty dollar. I have to think that Discovery is, at least more open to creative projects. Walt says Nutrunners and The Tingle all said in one show. Walt also says AT&T is an aircraft carrier that doesn't understand the need for aircraft.
Right.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
the
well said.
creative stuff is way, way, way beyond them. Milram says sometimes when big companies merge, you do some nut runners cutting, so to speak.
See, we all learned something today.
I'd like to think that we all learned something today. That's really kind of the bottom line. Does anyone else have anything that they want to say on this subject?
No.
All right, we're moving on. Here it comes. Let's do this. This doesn't have to take up a whole heck of a lot of time. We don't talk a lot about Adult Swim on here, and I think Adult Swim was, I remember Adult Swim back when I was living with Scott, and they were, doing Harvey Birdman and Space Goes Coast to Coast. It's given us a lot of good stuff over the years. I mean, it started out pretty small and has gone on to do a lot of great things. They just announced that there are going to be 3 movies coming out on some of the kind of legacy stuff, including Venture Brothers, Aqua Teen, Hunger Force, and Metalocalypse. That's not easy to say. Metalocalypse.
Yeah.
Which I think is really interesting. I just wanted to, maybe ask you guys to kind of recount some of your favorite, Adult Swim memories. What's your favorite show from Adult Swim, and if you're looking forward to these shows? And first, I'll go to Sean.
Well, as far or concerning the movies that are coming out, I'm excited to see a Venture Brothers movie. I loved the Venture Brothers when it came out.
Yeah,
it was a wonderful parody of Johnny Quest, who did a fantastic job of making that just funny, absolutely hilarious.
Anthony mentions Robot Chicken. Yes, that's another good example. That's been around for a long time.
Still
playing. Yep.
But beyond that, I can't really say that I remember a whole lot on Adult Swim. I'm so removed. I am not a fan of Aqua Teen Hunger Force. I'm sorry. I was when it first came out. I was in there, and then all of their jokes became the same, and it became tired, and I couldn't stand it. After a while, although little clips here and there from memes are just absolutely hilarious. Metalocalypse, I thoroughly enjoyed that when it aired. It was so bizarre, so out of left field, and the music was really good. So, I'm perfect.
Steve says Perfect Hair Forever.
I forgot all about Perfect Hair Forever. Okay, all right. But they started doing live action stuff on Adult Swim, on Cartoon Network, and that's pretty much when I washed my hands of it. It didn't matter what they were putting on Adult Swim. I couldn't deal with it. Am I looking forward to these movies? Absolutely. I would love to see what they could do with a feature length episode, as it were, for these properties. Let's see what they've got. Let's see how they treat it, and where it can go from there.
Scott, what do you think?
I'm gonna be the old man and agree with Sean. I didn't like any of those, like the Tim and Eric show and all that stuff for the people who
hated Tim.
For those people who are huffing paint at 11 o'clock at night, who are really effed up high. That's not for me. I wanted to see cartoons. I really enjoyed Robot Chicken. We've talked about the Venture Brothers is good, even though I haven't seen all of those. Some of the things now is Rick and Morty. That's on there. That's where Family Guy was into some of that as well. I had another one on the tip of my head, but Metalocalypse I wasn't really into, and I had a lot of friends who were, so I'm sure they're very happy. Aqua Teen Hunger Force, it is kind of like Beavis and Butthead. After a while, you gets kind of old, but I think they kind of ran out of ideas.
It's not high art.
Actually, it was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. And then once I associated like characters on the show with my friends, it was like watching an episode of my friends. You know, like Pump was this character, Dave was this character, so on and so on. And I'm not going to get into who was what, but going way back when we watched Space Ghost Coast to Coast, where they have that cartoon character interview real life people, was hilarious. And Brack, I mean, let's not forget back in college, I had one of the Brack things on my answer machine. So people would call the answer machine just to hear Brack talk to them. Answer machine, kids, is when you don't have a cell phone. You have a phone plugged into a wall. It's this little cassette videotape that you could play a message when you called somebody, and then you could leave a message afterwards. Well, we had people call all the time just to listen
technology.
to the message. Yeah, ancient technology. You don't even know what that is.
Did you say cassette videotape?
I might have. I'm old. I just confuse it all. World War II, Vietnam, it's all the same, right?
Oh, no.
Anyways, we had some good times back then watching that junk. C-Lab 2020 or 2021.
2021. How ironic.
Harvey Birdman. I mean, for a while they just took old Hanna-Barbera stuff and kind of redid it to make it funny and crazy and stuff. And then they started having original content. So a lot of good memories, and at the same time there was eras where I hated almost everything on there. I was like, why are they showing these guys like put Play-Doh and eggs on their face and walking around going, I never wanted to crawl through my TV so much and like bash their heads in as I did like the Tim and Eric show. I hated them almost as much as I hate Seth Rogen. So like on Fear Factor. So I just wanted to choke the life out of them, but I chose not to watch. So
that's not
Joe
Seth
Rogan.
Joe Rogan.
I'm sorry, Joe Rogan.
It's Joe Rogan.
Although
Seth Rogen.
I hate Seth Rogen too.
Seth Rogen always looks like he has a dip in his mouth. Hey, how's it going? I'm Seth Rogen.
Okay.
Anyways, he's like, Scott always looks like he just got from a buffet. He's probably sitting at home watching us now saying the same thing.
I'm sure Seth Rogen is watching us.
Some really fun memories. We cracked up and laughed a lot back in the day. And really that's probably what the Adult Swim show changed to, because it went through its transition periods of having those people who were huffing paint or really high and they needed to watch the Tim and Eric show so much. So well.
Right.
Do not huff paint.
Oh, definitely don't huff paint.
Aqua Teen Hunger Force made their debut on Space Ghost Coast to Coast, Walt says. Okay. Is that it, dude?
That's it. I mean, I have good memories and bad memories, and I still watch it every now and then if I had Cartoon Network. I mean, when I had cable, I watched it.
Right.
So there you go.
Right. Like I said, I remember us watching Space Ghost Coast to Coast and Harvey Birdman.
Yep.
All that crazy stuff back when I was living with
the biggest disappointing show ever on there was the Squidbillies. Do you remember that show?
I do.
It was drawn by like preschoolers.
I know what you're talking about.
It was the first of, it was kind of in the style of Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
It was their way of saying, we're not going to even put any effort and we're going to see if people watch this stuff. Yep, everybody's high. Let Tim and Eric do their show.
The Archer group got their start on Adult Swim. They were doing I can't even remember the name of it. Frisky Dingo. I just came up with it. They did Frisky Dingo and then moved from there to Archer. Same guy that does the voice of Archer did Frisky Dingo. I want to say that the Saturday night anime block was a big deal back then. That was long before you could get stuff streaming. Back in the olden days. Someone mentioned Cowboy Bebop. What's the Samurai Champloo? Samurai Champloo. All that sort of stuff. Fooly Cooly. they had a lot of really, really amazing anime offerings on, Saturday nights on Adult Swim that, you really had very little, even in the 2000s, you had very little outlets for that. And it definitely, and continues today. Attack on Titan would not be as big a deal if it wasn't on Adult Swim. So they're still introducing people to stuff. I mean, now you can get a lot of anime on Netflix, on Hulu. You can go to Crunchyroll or, whatever. But, back in the day, it was really nice to be able to tune in for a huge block on Saturday nights and see, 4 or 5 hours of anime. It was pretty cool.
I will concede that Adult Swim did introduce me to a lot of anime that I was unaware of.
And still is doing that. I mean, I think that they I think their curation of anime stuff is pretty solid. Nothing will ever replace the fun of the Venture Brothers in my heart, because it dealt with so many things that was, the things that I love so much. They made parodies of it. It was legitimately funny. Oh my God, if you're into comic books, if you're into adventure stuff, all of the stuff that I love, apparently the people who did Venture Brothers also loved, but also had, what I think made Venture Brothers so good is they had these moments that were real, introspective and somber, also, where, like when the Venture Brothers find out that they're clones, that sort of thing. I mean, they really played that, to kind of be hard hitting, as opposed to, some of the other stuff that they were doing on the show. But I think that, now with Rick and Morty, I don't know if there is a better sci-fi series of any type, not just cartoons, not just stuff on Adult Swim. I mean, Rick and Morty is so funny and so good, top to bottom. It also has those moments where it's like it hits you harder than a lot of, drama series do that are supposed to hit you hard, and it's like, I don't really care. In this case, some of the things that Rick and Morty brings up, hard sci-fi, very interesting characters, continues to expand the universe. Rick and Morty, we have Adult Swim to thank for that as well. So, I'm a big fan of Adult Swim, and really happy to see that we're going to be getting some movies of properties that I really enjoyed. What is this? Walt says they did away with Toonami about 5 years and then brought it back. Yeah. Walt said that Seth MacFarlane got his start with Adult Swim. Is that right? What did he do?
I don't totally remember. Mike Tyson's Mysteries. That's an awesome one. Have y'all seen that? Where
I've watched a couple of episodes of that.
It's like Scooby-Doo, but with Mike Tyson, and oh my gosh.
Yeah. And it actually got Mike Tyson involved with it.
Oh gosh. I mean, like laugh out loud moments. And I mean, like one episode is like crazy, nut runner crazy, and awesome. And then like the next episode's not so much, so, but yeah, some great laugh out, loud moments. Yeah.
I think Seth Rogen was on the Eric Andre show, but
Seth
Rogen
or Seth MacFarlane?
Didn't Family Guy get...
He said MacFarlane.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
Didn't Family Guy get saved because, after they got canceled, they went to Adult Swim?
Yeah, that is correct.
So
Yes, they picked it up and started running it, and it built the audience for it, and then they brought it back on to Fox.
And Boondocks was on there. I mean, that's a fabulous show with a lot of great messages there if you just listen to what's being said. It's pretty epic stuff. So
absolutely. Here we go. He says MacFarlane was a writer on Space Coast Coast to Coast. That's hilarious. I did not know that.
He did a bunch of voices on Robot Chicken, including Emperor
Seth
Palpatine.
MacFarlane? That's pretty good. Steve says there's something inherently wrong about the statement, quote, "It's like Scooby-Doo Mysteries, but with Mike Tyson."
It's better. It's so much better. So much better.
Wow.
Pigeon, Marcus, the gay ghost. Oh, it's amazing stuff. Mike Tyson might not even be the best character. That's what's amazing about it. It's really good. That's South Park and Mike Tyson's Mysteries are the two things I miss from not having cable TV to just set my DVR to record those.
South Park has remained relevant somehow, just through being topical and by not choosing sides.
They get everybody.
They rip everyone equally, and that's why they're still awesome. Mm-hmm. Is because there's always some stupid thing that's coming up in reality, and they go right after it. And good for them. Good for them. Still funny stuff. All right, let's go to On Blast, guys. Are you making another scene change, Scott? What is going on with you? It's like working with Beyonce.
I gotta figure this out because at times I feel like I'm washed out here and then I don't see enough. But if we're gonna be showing off things, I can't do that in the dark. So
I got you.
And frankly, this light's making it hot in here. So I'm double layered up, so it's my fault. I don't want to change on camera. I know the ratings would go up.
I'm double layered.
Oh well.
All right, it's On Blast. We're going first, Scott.
All right. Is this where I show off stuff? Is that right?
Yes, yeah. Dude. Why do I have to? Wait a minute.
Because it sounds like I'm going to go on blast, and I'm going to say, like,
have you never heard the term?
You can't
go through this every week
in a plastic bag, lady. You can't do that.
That's not a good idea. It's not. Haven't you ever heard the term on blast? It's like you're going to promote something. You're going to put it on blast.
You capping. Get out of here.
Oh, my Lord. Okay.
All right, tomorrow at the comic shop.
Promote something that you enjoyed reading, consuming, whatever.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to promote stuff that's coming out tomorrow at your local comic shop.
That's fine.
Oh, remember this comic? We only find them when we're dead?
Yes.
Number 6 is coming out tomorrow after we've had a little short break. So it's the same team in all ways. Some beautiful art. Oh, my gosh. It's so
Simon DeMeo.
Simon DeMeo's doing it. Al Ewing's writing it. Who knows what's going to happen?
That artwork is so good.
I was holding this out. I didn't even tell Jennifer I picked this up today.
Uh-oh. You're in trouble.
I'm going to read it tomorrow so she can read it. Otherwise, she would have took it away from tonight's show. Another thing that's coming out tomorrow, I know Walt was really excited about the Shang-Chi action figure. And about 6 months ago or more, we had a Shang-Chi miniseries. And then we had a Shang-Chi one-shot. And I believe this is the new ongoing Shang-Chi. This is a variant cover by Michael Cho. There's also a regular cover done by Francis Lennell Yu. But it drops tomorrow, issue number 1 of Shang-Chi.
I like Francis. Who's doing the art inside?
Inside is a gentleman named, y'all are gonna tease me for saying
that's okay. No, it's all right.
But it looks like Dyke Rune, and I'm gonna put it right there.
D-I-K-E, Dyke Ruan, maybe?
Ruan, maybe, or maybe DK Ruan.
Okay.
Anyway, so those are your creators.
All right.
Art looks nice, actually.
Let's see.
Okay, you got to give me a second here, bro. I know we have a little guest appearance.
Oh, wait a minute. That's a great Spider-Man. Yeah, I like the panel layout.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, the artist doesn't, even though I'm not familiar with the work, doesn't cut back and simplify panels. Those are some complex panels there. I don't know how well this is coming across.
Dude, it looks good.
It does look nice.
It looks really good.
It looks good. The last couple series were okay. I mean, they weren't like the greatest thing because I'm not going to tell you to go out and buy it because it's like the best work of art you've ever read or storyline wise. But it was okay, and I'm going to give this a shot. So we'll see how it is, and then I'll get back to you. So those are the main books that I got. Nothing. I mean, the War of the Bounty Hunters, I keep hyping this up because we keep selling out at the store. Continues in the other Star Wars books. You'll see them all with this. as they're
Wait a
preluding
minute,
it.
it's like a crossover?
Yeah, it's going to go through all the Star Wars books currently published by Marvel. So that
Oh,
means
that's pretty cool.
the issue Alpha was the kickoff, and then it's going into the Star Wars book that's set right after Empire, and then it's going to go into the Bounty Hunters book, Darth Vader book, and Dr. Aphra book. So it's going to cross over in all these things as the Bounty Hunters fight over the remains of Han Solo to get to Jabba the Hutt.
All right.
Anyways, that's all I
that
got. Besides, I was going to talk about Dune Imperium. I played that board game. I don't have any pictures or anything. If you are a fan of Dune and you kind of like board games, this will probably be for you. If you're a fan of board games and don't even know what Dune is, this is still a good game that you should probably give it a shot. So I really enjoyed the game. Look forward to playing it.
What's the premise of the game?
The premise of the game is to have the most points. Or
All right.
you have
What's the setup?
You have all sorts of currency. It's a worker replacement game, which means you put your little worker on the board to get something. You have guys go harvest, or you have guys go battle and stuff like that. There's politics where you can.
So are you different houses?
You get favor with the 4 different houses.
Okay.
Which I assume are in the Dune universe.
Right.
And it has the point system is like, you played some games where you get points, like for this and points for that. And at the end of the game, I have 42 points, you have 41, and Sean has 36. This one has the point scale only goes up to, I think, like 12 or 14, because as soon as you hit 10 points, the game starts its last turn. And then it goes into these high complex things of tiebreakers, which is like who has the most spice, who has the most water, who has the most whatever the money unit is, Daenerys or something like, I don't know I can't remember what it was, Solarises or something like that. So it goes into these complex tiebreakers.
Spice melange.
But yeah, the spice is in there for sure, and it has like a deck building mechanic to it and a worker replacement mechanic in it. So it's pretty neat.
I want to play this game.
One of the guys who played with us, he ended up winning. He had 11 points. Me and Gary. I mean, the game was tight, and I felt like I was losing the whole night. I felt like I was losing, and I kind of was. I mean, like, I made some mistakes, and I still ended up getting second because we went into tiebreakers. We finished 11 points, 10 points, 10 points, and it looks like one of those games where it's always gonna be tight, and those tiebreakers are gonna come into effect. So, like, if let's say Gary was just some dude from the store that I'd never see again, I might pick up this game and add it to my collection. I liked it that much. So
cool. Thanks, man. I'm interested in that game.
Yeah, Gary's ready to play it, so all we got to do is have a game night. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah, let's do it. You're up, Sean.
Well, not a whole lot really to put on blast, other than the on Netflix, the latest volume of Love, Death, and Robots was released.
Oh.
Unlike the first season, which was 18 episodes, this was reduced to 8 episodes.
I'm okay with that.
Which I assume.
I mean, you could watch them in 10-minute chunks.
I assume
I like
that this is partially because of the event that we had last year.
Almost for sure.
The Buccaneers winning the Super Bowl?
Yes. They've already announced.
Is that what we're calling it?
They've already announced Volume 3 next year. So that's a big positive.
Did you have anything else you wanted to share there, or should I go back to you?
No, that's it right there. And also, I was able to get my hands on the long-awaited remaster of Mass Effect with the Mass Effect Legacy, which takes the original 3 Mass Effect games and kicks up the graphics and the gameplay and tries to modernize them a bit and make them look all pretty in 4K and whatnot. Absolutely wonderful. Absolutely, they did a fantastic job with that. If you're a Mass Effect fan and you're holding out on whether or not you want to purchase this, just go out and get it. It's wonderful. It's so far I'm still in game 1. I'm not that deep. The character, everything about it, character creator is the same, with things a little bit spiced up. The Mako, everybody hated the Mako. I love the Mako. It's the same, just spiced up a little bit. Gameplay is pretty much the same, just spiced up a little bit. And the graphics are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So if it's a franchise that you really liked and are really interested in, go out and get it. It's absolutely wonderful. That's it.
Sean, look, I think it's important to give a little background here on Mass Effect.
Let me guess. Sean has played it 3 days in a row.
How many? Wait a minute. Before we get to that, how many characters? How many playthroughs have you done with 1, 2, and 3?
Okay. Now, before I go into that,
God, this is getting intimate.
When the original Mass Effect came out, I believe it was 2007, or at least that's when I got it. I think it was 2007. I was unemployed. I was unemployed. I was doing freelance work from home and not getting a whole lot of new clients and whatnot. So unfortunately, I had a lot of depression and a lot of downtime. Well, during that downtime, I discovered Mass Effect, and I created a character. And when I created that character, I didn't like that character, so I had to go back and create another character. I literally spent an ungodly amount of time just getting the character the way I wanted him. Then I started the game, and I was blown away. I was just completely absorbed into the story. I was taken by the characters, the characterizations, the conversations, the drama of the game itself. On my first character, I played I've got over 100 hours logged on the first character. I've played through the game. First one, I've played through. This is on the first game. This is not the trilogy. First character, first game. I've logged over 100 hours. I've played through the game. I don't know how many times. Honestly, I don't know how many times. I'm going to say at least 10. Nah, maybe more like six or 7 on that first character. I have a total, or I had. There's another long story I'm not going to get into. I had at one point 7 different characters that I had played through the game, all 3 games completely, at least 5 or 6 times each, multiple times. I probably had over, I'm going to say at least 600 hours over all the characters in that game. I love that game. I
hope so.
I don't think that just so everyone knows, I don't think there is a bigger, I challenge you, I don't think there is a bigger Mass Effect fan on the planet.
Oh, there's others
Sean.
that are way more ridiculous than I am. But I truly do love that game.
I'm sure that there are people who, had all the time in the world and they might have spent more time and stuff, but I don't think anyone loves it more than you do.
I do love that game.
And so, I wanted to emphasize that because, this is kind of your baby here and they have remastered it. So I think it's important to point out that when you say they did a good job with it, it's as good as it used to be, but better. That's important.
It is everything the original was.
It should hold some weight.
Kicked up.
Right.
They did I feel they did a fantastic job with this remaster. Are there things that I wish they would have changed? Sure, absolutely. Are there things that I look forward to in the future? Absolutely. I know a lot of the media and whatnot hated the last one that came out, Mass Effect Andromeda. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that game. I've played through that one on at least 3, no 2, no 3, because I ended up deleting that first one.
Beyonce did another costume change.
I played through that one at least with 3 different characters 3 or 4 times. I love the universe. I love the world of the Mass Effect, and yeah, I look forward to more.
Cool.
Buy it.
All right. I also watch Love, Death, and Robots. That thing is so hypnotic. You get started on it, and before you know it's done. You get wrapped up in it. It's funny. It's crazy, and it's. I mean, look, there was at least 1, maybe 2, that Sean and I saw that were like, is this an actor in this thing, or is this, actual animation? Because it was, I would say, as far as the uncanny valley, it was about 99.9% perfect.
I want to point out one particular, the story featuring Michael B. Jordan, especially that one in particular.
It's like, did they film him and then put the sets around him?
I honestly could not tell.
I couldn't either.
Not tell.
It never broke. It never broke the, that test. Like you look at Grand Moff Tarkin in Rogue One, and it's like, that looks really great, but it's 5% not perfect.
If you tell me that Michael B. Jordan was on a green screen set, and
I would believe you.
I would totally believe it. Now, if you told me that he was completely CGI, again, I would totally believe it.
We need to do some research on that, because we were dumbfounded by how good it was. If that's animated, we've arrived. It
blew me away.
Because if it wasn't part of Love, Death, and Robots, you wouldn't know. You would not know that it was animated.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, but besides, it's not just about that. There are a lot of episodes on that thing that are stylistic, and some of them are funny, and some of it is gory, and some of it is sexy. It's heavy metal, folks, and it is as good or better than the original heavy metal movie.
Where I would say in the original season, there were several that were my favorite. I love the series overall, but there were several that were my favorites. I can't pick a favorite in Volume 2. They were all
really good.
I thought they were all magnificent.
They were all really good.
Story-wise, art-wise, everything about it. It was absolutely amazing, and I cannot wait for Volume 3.
Just a real great kind of cross-section of, what's out there, what's possible now with animation, and it's just, obviously go watch it.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I want to mention is I've been reading Old Man Logan. Does anyone else read Old Man Logan?
No.
I've always been a big Wolverine fan, and I just thought it'd be fun to check that out, because a lot of people say that they like it. I really enjoyed it. I've read two of the trade paperbacks so far, and the story is very cool. It's a kind of a, it's set in another universe. So if you're like you only want to read stuff that's in canon or whatever, this is definitely not that. Although, if you're reading X-Men, they do a lot of time hopping and going to alternate universes, so it's really not off the range. But the artwork is really good. It looks like, to me, kind of like painted graphic novel type stuff, but it's in a monthly comic. It's by a woman, I cannot remember her name, I'm sorry, but the artwork is really, really good, and I really do enjoy it. Like I said, I've read through 2 of the trade paperbacks. I got another one that's free through Comixology, so I will read that too. And then after that, I get it. Scott, is it still going?
I don't think so. They've been doing like an old man series of other things too.
I saw that. I saw that, and I don't know. I don't know if they're set in the same. I figured that
I
this
think
was something.
I mean,
that
they did
would,
Old Man Hawkeye, so I'm assuming this is set in the same.
Hawkeye
future time.
Hawkeye is mentioned in that. He started hanging out with his daughter in this deal, and everything else is kind of weird. Like Captain America has gray hair, and I mean, all of the people that you're used to are older, and then it's their sons and daughters that are showing up on this stuff. Anyway, it's an interesting kind of post-apocalyptic premise that they have there, where all of the villains finally got their act together and won. They either killed or took over the universe and stuff, and then Wolverine or Logan has been kind of lying low. He got a family. He just kind of lived his life, and then as these things do, something bad happens and he has to go on a killing spree. And that's the sort of Wolverine that I like, because he's just in like jeans and a t-shirt, riding a motorcycle and stuff. That's always the version of Wolverine that I like. So anyway, I am really enjoying that. I did a piece of artwork on Old Man Logan, and I'll share that on Facebook tomorrow. There you go. I got inspired. All right,
Cool.
guys. Let's wrap this show up. Let's do a little promo time. We'll go to Scott first.
You can catch me over at bothdown.com. We just dropped a new episode last Sunday, episode 120. So if you'd like to, we have a special guest, Dustin Parsons, who's a fabulous miniature painter. We had him as a guest host, and we interviewed him on the joys of painting, or if you're a new person painting. We also talked some team fluff. We talk about the wood elves of the old world. So you can catch me over there, or you can catch me at Real Scott Prime on Twitter.
Good stuff.
That's it.
All right, Sean, you're up.
As usual, you can always check me out at rankingstudios.com or go to Facebook /Ranking Studios. Check us out. Leave us a message. Say hi. Say bye. Say I hate all of you. I love all of you. Whatever you care. We just want people to talk to us and let us know that you're there.
Yeah, please talk to us, man. We're lonely. Is that it, dude?
That's all I got.
All right, I'm gonna share my stuff. I did a piece of artwork I want to share. That's what I'm gonna use this time for. Let's see if I can get to it. Here we go. There it is. That's my fancy bear. I did a fancy bear. This is a big deal to me, because this is a kind of a fully realized piece, and it's a Demon Town character that I've kind of had rolling around in my head for a while. And so anyway, it has a background and all that stuff. I've been trying to kind of get to the point where I can put it all together, do the pencils, do the inks, do the color, put it all together, have a concept. So anyway, I just wanted to share it. And if you're interested in that sort of stuff, you can go to all of the places below. What is it? Rankingstudios.com. I'm on there. You can also, if you're watching this on Facebook, I'm available at Dirk.Hooper. On Twitter, I'm at Dirk Hooper Plus, and LinkedIn also Dirk Hooper Plus, and I'm on TikTok, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
I know. I'm not saying that it's not. Oh, and on Facebook, Dirk Hooper Artworks, that's where I'll share my Old Man Logan piece tomorrow. Is that mañana?
That's mañana.
All right. There it is. All right. Let's see. Walt says that he subscribed to Peacock and watched the old Savage Dragon cartoon. That's pretty cool. Both Down says that they heard that Scott finally watched Invincible.
I did.
Is that true?
Yeah, I should have said that on Blast. Me and Jennifer watched.
You want to talk about that?
Sure. We watched it the other night, episode 1, first 15 minutes. Jennifer was ready to make this their final episode. And then I would say in the last 8 minutes of the show, she was like, what the F? And she was dying to watch episode 2.
Yeah.
And what's funny is I read all the comics. I read all the comics, so I knew what was coming eventually, and I still know what's coming eventually. and I thought it was pretty good. I mean, like if somebody said they don't like it, I get that, and if they said they like it, I get that too. So I'm looking forward to more episodes because that last 8 minutes really got their hooks into her, and so we'll definitely be watching them. I don't know, maybe on our vacation we're going to watch some Invincible or something like that.
Are you going to be on the beach next week?
I will be on the beach, so if I can get a lovely lady to maybe hold my phone and hear me yell into the camera, since I won't be able to hear you because I'm hard of hearing anyways. But yeah, maybe I'll report live next week from the beach, and
that's always fun.
This time I don't plan on wearing my glasses. So.
Hang on to your glasses, buddy.
I'm taking the extra pairs I bought afterwards to wear into the ocean. So I get 2 strikes. I really don't plan on going into the water often.
Oh, dude, I
so
wish
nasty.
that I had. I got to look that up. I wish I had that episode on my mind. Please go look at the episode. Do you have any idea when it was? What month it was?
About this time last year.
So like maybe April, May of last year.
I think the week after Memorial Day or whatever. So.
Okay, so late May.
Yeah, it's gonna come up on our memories thing.
Scott comes in to spoil it for you. Scott comes in. He does a live broadcast from the beach, which is pretty great live TV. And then he comes back like 10 minutes later and says, "I lost my glasses in the ocean."
I did. And I had a glasses strap. It's the episode with Mike Kennedy. So look up the Mike Kennedy episode and boom, you got it.
We will try to find it next week and talk about it. Hopefully we don't have a repeat of that. But that is high entertainment.
Yeah, I think it's the first episode Walt was on too. So
okay, I mean that's well worth your time to go check that out. Steve says, "Great night of yakking. Absolute fun. Thanks, TFG." Michelle says, "Great show, guys. Thank you."
Of course. It's wonderful.
Fun time had by all, says Walt. And Walt says, "I think it was my first appearance." So there you go. Look for the first appearance of Walt. I think I just shared that on Facebook. Because these are coming up like, your memories or whatever come up on Facebook. I just shared the first appearance of Walt the other day. So just look through my timeline if you want to see that. Ronnie says, "You guys rock." And
dude, it's 9 o'clock
sassy.
And Ronnie's still up? Wow. He must not have to work tomorrow.
Ronnie has to work all the time. He's on call.
He's staying up for Carson. Johnny Carson. He's going to watch it on Nick at Night.
Not Carson Daly.
No.
I miss Carson.
Hey, look at this. Walt says it's episode 6. Wow.
There you go. Episode
6 of Taskforce Geek. Watch, if nothing else. He comes in at the middle of the thing. You should watch it.
I figured it was good TV. If I'm going to be a jackhole in front of, that's what the real life's about, right? Is laughing at yourself because you're going to make mistakes. I tell that to my kids all the time. You are going to mess up, and your life is not going to be perfect. Don't beat yourself up.
It makes for great television, and you owned it. It was funny.
It was my fault, and I'm going to wear glasses back in the ocean. I promise you. It's just going to be my.
Dude, what do you have to see there?
Dude, if I didn't have my glasses on last time, I saw the jellyfish and I saw all the little manta rays running around. If I wouldn't have saw those, I'd have went and then I would have been dead like Steve Irwin. So I'm glad I did that.
Too soon?
No, I'm just saying. I have to see. I'm blind as a bat.
Ronnie says he's out. Metamucil time, then bed.
Oh, jeez.
Good stuff.
Steve says episode 6, the reveal of Walter. All right, guys. Hey, thanks to our guest tonight, Jerry Bennett, for giving us an hour of really good stuff. I hope that he joins us again soon. And please go over and support his Glamorella 2 Kickstarter. Let's see if we can get some of the bonus content on there. Thanks also to Scott and to Sean. Sean put some stuff up there for me. I always appreciate that sort of stuff, and for being here, guys. Thanks to everyone who chimed in tonight. We do appreciate it always, all the time. When you're giving us comments and stuff, it makes the show a hell of a lot better. And thanks for all of those who are watching us. Until next time, for Scott, for Sean, this is Dirk Cooper saying, dream hard.